Yeah.
Well, I think with attachment styles, it's a beautiful thing to explore, to understand yourself more, but people attach to their attachment styles. And it's almost like a badge of honor of like, well, I'm anxious. And it's like, well, why should somebody have to accept that? Is that an explanation or an excuse?
Right.
If it's an explanation for your behavior, well, great. And what are the actionable steps that you're taking to fix that and to work on that, and what therapy and what are you doing? If it's an excuse, I don't have the patience for excuses, because you just want everyone to accept you, but you don't want to accept anybody else.
Yeah, it becomes an identity, and it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy moving forward. And yeah, it's bad. It's bad news.
Yeah. And it's like, do I think that if you suffer from anxiety or avoidance that you can become 100% secure? No, I don't think that it's curable. I think you're always going to have that, because you're not getting rid of that little child inside of you. So they're always going to have those moments that flare up. But do I think you can get control of it? Yes. But I would probably say the number one question I get is, well, how do I make it go away? And it's like, you're not going to like my answer. It's a lot of fucking work. Do the work is implied, because it's so much and it's daily. That's like saying, I want a 6-pack. All right, well, I can tell you how to get it. Are you going to do it every single day? Are you going to go back every day? Are you going to show up? Are you going to remind yourself every time you're going to grab for the Cheetos that you want that 6-pack? And it's the same with your thought process.
The inner fat kid is always there.
Always there. Yeah. Just like the inner anxious and the inner avoidant.
Keep them at bay.
It's about reparenting them. Like, hey, you don't need that. I'm here now. You're good.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't have any quick fix. If I were to say how you could heal your anxiety, it's like, it's going to take a lot of work on your part, and it's constant. And that's why I think people are just like, yeah, I don't want to do it.
Right. So obviously Attached is a big influence for you, right?
Yeah, it's just the book.
Yeah, the book and the theories behind it. And
I think it is. It's a big part in the sense where it allows you to at least not feel crazy anymore for not understanding your behavior. It's an explanation.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. But I always tell people, I'm like, Attached is the first start.
I was gonna ask, like, I guess that's kind of a gateway.
That's the gateway drug.
What other resources do you think, or books or whatever, do you think are good for like a next step?
I mean, if you want to take this shit seriously, like for me, I was like, I read Attached. Okay, cool. I had an awareness. But therapy, I mean, like, unless you have somebody that is really going to call you on your shit and help you work through those, how are you going to fucking do it? You could read every book under the sun, but if you don't have the self-awareness or the way to connect it, I'm just giving you tools for the toolbox that you don't. It's like giving you a different language. So I think it's like, that's a great place to start, some identity and like some self-awareness. If your shit wasn't that bad and you're kind of like, I'm pretty secure, but sometimes I lean a little left or a little right, sure, you can read Attached. And there's like another attachment book my friend gave me. You could read Jay Shetty's new book, 8 Rules of Love. You could read The 4 Agreements. Fine, you can meditate and you can understand how to sit in your thoughts and remove yourself from the emotions and do all that. But if you were severe anxiety or severe avoidance, nothing is going to make that go away until you address the inner child shit. Or wherever you learned along the way that those core beliefs were instilled. Mm-hmm. So for anxious, where did you learn that you're not worthy? Where did you learn that you're not good enough? Where did you learn that you're too big? Where did you learn you're too much? Who taught you all that? And that's going back and being like, oh, I have to go back to some really uncomfortable shit and remind my dad used to say that. My dad used to do this, and thus it made me believe that I wasn't good enough.
Right.
And then you've given that inner child a light to speak. And then you can go back and be like, yeah, but I'm here now and I'm good. And that's the work every day of having to stop yourself. And then it becomes like a muscle that you work.